This is the solution to the challenge called Challenge Epic Spies Assignment. You were given a number of requirements, business rules that you needed to satisfy by building an application. It was a fictitious spy organization. It allowed the different project managers, I guess you could say, to assign a spy out in the field to a new project and how much of a budget hit that would be for that particular project manager. So I think, first of all, this is not unlike what you're going to experience when you get out in the real world and you build applications for companies. If you're lucky, they'll give you a list of requirements that are written out somehow, whether in the form of emails or a formal document. There's a lot to the process of defining the project life cycle, and that's a topic for another day. In large projects, there will be multiple people defining the requirements and helping to manage the requirements for the developers who are actually building them. In smaller projects, departmental projects, you might be the only person in charge of gathering requirements, codifying them somehow, making sure that these are right with the business sponsor of the application, and then going off and coding an application to satisfy those requirements. So hopefully getting your feet wet here, getting you pushed in the right direction as a software developer in the future. Okay, so there were a number of different tips that I gave you before we got started. Things like just because the business rules are listed in a certain order doesn't mean that that's how they're implemented. Okay, that's key. Don't forget to use breakpoints to help solve comparison or logic problems in your application. You're going to use the subtract method. So you subtract earlier date from the later date. So if you don't remember how that works, make sure you watch the time span video to remind yourself about the subtract method. And unless otherwise specified, all dates start at midnight, 12:00 a.m. Okay, and they end at 11:59 p.m. And so that's going to affect your use of the greater than and the less than whenever you're comparing dates. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to build a new application, and we're going to call this Challenge Epic Spies Assignment, and click OK. Empty web forms, OK. And the first thing that we're going to do is there is like we talked about in the assignment. There are a number of assets or things that we can refer to, like the business rules document and the logo and things of that nature, as well as mocked up screenshots of what various screens should look like. So please refer to these. What I'm going to do is actually start off by dragging and dropping the assets into my project, including the text file. Now, it might surprise you that you can put a text file inside of Visual Studio, but it's great because you can then reference it. Now, there might be some way, I haven't thought about this, to do auto wrap, but and nonetheless, I'll just go ahead and separate those out on different lines. The very first requirement is to make sure that when we add the logo to our web page, that it is only 190 pixels tall. So let's go ahead and create a new web form. Here we go, add new web form, default. Okay, and I'm just going to go over to the design view. I'm going to drag and drop the Epic Spies logo. And I'm going to go ahead and skip all of this accessibility property stuff. Just click OK. And if you take a look at the size of the image, I can actually just, I think, hover over it somewhere here. Can't I? No. Oh, yeah, maybe I can, like here. Yeah, if you hover over the bottom right-hand corner, you can see that the current height is 300 pixels. So I'm going to hold down the Shift button on my keyboard, and I'm going to drag this and get it to 190. There. Great. Okay, so that's the first challenge that I need to overcome. And I'm going to add spy new assignment form. I'm going to get the formatting correct and all that. So I'm going to select it. I'm going to choose the Arial Helvetica font. I guess we'll choose H1 for this. That looks a little big. I think H2 is the proper size, yeah. And there's a little bit too much space there as well. Good. All right, the next up, spy code name, and then new assignment name, and then end date of previous assignment. And so this is where we're going to start adding some controls. So let's go ahead and add a text box and another text box, and add a calendar. Where are you? And then we want the start date of the new assignment in another calendar control. And then we finally want the projected end date of the new assignment. Okay. And here we'll go one more calendar. Then we'll have a button, and we're going to have a result label. Okay, so let's go ahead and name all these things correctly. And this will be the assign button. And the name of it will be assign spy, or the text rather will be assign spy. All right, let's fix that. All right, let's go up to the top here. Code name text box, and then this is new assignment text box, and then this will be the call this previous calendar. We'll call this new calendar, and what you name these, I really don't care. I would name them something you remember, and then the end calendar. Great. Okay, so the first business rule is that you should initialize the calendar controls. Make sure the end of the previous assignment date is set to today. Okay, got it. Make sure the start date of the new assignment is set for an additional 14 days from today. Got it. Make sure the end date of the new assignment is set for an additional 21 days from today. Got it. All right, so let's go ahead and get rid of Toolbox. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to double click the assign spy so we can get into the code behind. And in the page load, what I'll do is I'm going to set the previous calendar selected date equal date time dot now dot date. Remember that? Remember we had to do that? And then new calendar, that's supposed to be 14 days from today, so the selected date equals date time dot now dot date dot add days 14, and then the end calendar dot selected date equals date time dot now dot date dot add days 21, right? All right, new calendar, there you go. All right. I was a little worried about him. Now we only want this to happen the first time through, not after postback. So we're going to make sure that we do this check if not page dot is postback. Then we'll wrap curly braces around it. Okay, so that only happens one time. Great. We've satisfied business rule number 1. All right, let's take a look at business rule number 2. Okay, the United Spy Workers Union dictates that there must be at least 2 weeks of paid time between assignments. If at least 2 weeks are not selected between the previous assignment and the new assignment, display an error message. And we can look at that mock-up. Also show the manager the earliest available date on the calendar by selecting and showing that date in the start of new date calendar. And I guess I chopped off something else there on that part. All right, and then the business rule number 3, spies cost $500 per day against your assignment's budget. So display the budget to the manager at the text in the bottom of the web page. All right, and then if the assignment is greater than 3 weeks, an additional $1,000. Okay, so what I'm going to do is my game plan is to implement and get this part working first, and then I'll worry about this weird business rule a little bit later. So in the OK, or in the assignment button click event, what I want to do is Spies cost $500 per day. So what I need to do here is I'm going to get a time span. So time span, total duration of assignment equals, and I should just be able to do like the end calendar date, selected date, subtract, and I should be able to pass in the new calendar dot selected date, right? So that'll give me the total elapsed days of the newest assignment in order to calculate $500 per day to get the budget. So let's go double total cost equals total duration of assignment dot total days, all right, it's coming together here, times 500. Cool. So that should give me the total cost. Now, business rule number 4, I believe, let's get back there. Yeah, is if the assignment is for 3 weeks, an additional $1,000 budget fee will be assessed. Okay, that should be easy enough. So if greater than 21 days, then add 1,000. Okay, it's helpful for me to put the business rules in my own words and in comments so that I remember what I'm trying to achieve in each little section of code. All right, so here, this is easy, right? If total duration of assignment dot total days is greater than 21, right? Then the total cost plus equals 1,000. That should work. All right. So let's test this theory and see if this works so far the way that we have it. Oh wait, we got to display this in the result label, and if you recall, we have those screenshots of what it should look like here in the challenge folder, but I happen to know it off the top of my head, so I'm going to go ahead and do result label dot text equals assignment of, and then we're going to add, oh wait, let's use the new string.format that we learned about, okay? So let's go string.format, and let's create our template. So assignment of 0 to assignment 1 is authorized. Budget total, and then we should be able to do 2C for currency. All right, and so now let's pass in those values. So the code name text box, or just the code name text box.text is the first item. The second item we want to pass in is the assignment name, a new assignment text box.text, and then the third thing we want to set is the total cost .toString. Okay, now unfortunately this is a very long line of code, so let's go ahead and just separate this off into new lines. All right, let's make sure this works. Let's run the application. Okay, we'll just put the code name JAWS. The new assignment name is Project Elephant. And then let's just leave all the selected dates and click Assign Spy. And we get the assignment of JAWS to Project Elephant, budget total 3,500. Okay, I didn't get the $sign in there like I wanted to. I think I know what I did wrong. I shouldn't have done the toString on the end of that thing. Let's try this. Let's run it. And let's try spy name avocado. mission improbable, and then we'll leave all those days and click assign spy. And yeah, now it's formatted it correctly. Awesome. And let's think about this. Let's check our work here. It was a 14-day assignment, so 14 times 5. Oh, actually, it was only a 7-day assignment, right? So between the 22nd and the 29th, 7 times 500 is 3,500. Great. Now let's put the date. Let's just put this date way out here and try this again. So there should be 22 days times 500 should be like 11,000 or 12,000. I maybe have the dates wrong, the number of days wrong. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 5, 10, 6, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Oh, I see. Yes, it was 11,000, but we went more than 21 days. So it added on the extra 1,000. So it works correctly. Awesome. All right, now let's worry about that last business rule. It was a little bit hairy. What was it again? It was the first business rule, or the second one. The United Spy Workers Union dictates that there must be at least 2 weeks of paid time between assignments. If at least 2 weeks are not selected between the previous assignment and the new assignment, display an error message. All right, so let's do that. All right, so what I'm going to need to do is figure out the time between assignments. So we'll do this. Time span, time between assignments. Do you notice how long I make my variable names? Because it's easy for me to remember what their purpose is. You should do that too. Be as descriptive as possible. So if somebody else comes in and looks at your code, they can read it like an English sentence and not like some crazy encoded, I have no idea what jumbled up letters and numbers this person's using to represent the time between the two assignments. So here we go. New calendar. And what we want to make sure is that there's at least 14 days of rest between the end of the previous assignment and this new assignment that we want to assign this person to. So we'll go selected date dot subtract again, and this time we're going to go previous calendar dot selected date, and that will give us the time span. So now if the time between assignments dot total days, if it's less than 14, so if it's less than 2 weeks, then we'll change what the result label will spit out. Result label dot text equals error must allow at least 2 weeks between previous assignment, and new assignment. And there. And now I tell you what I'm going to do, because this is such a long line of code and I don't like long lines of code. I'm going to go and do this. Watch. I'm just going to split it up onto 2 lines of code. 2 lines, but it's still 1 line of code, 1 executed line, okay? The part that I chopped off from the business rule is that show the manager the earliest available date on the calendar by selecting and showing the date of the start of date calendar and I believe the end of date calendar. So what I need to do is now select the proper dates, like the earliest you could possibly schedule this person is, and then add 14 days from the end date. So let's do that. We're going to create a date time, the earliest new assignment date equals. So go previous calendar, selected date, add days, days, 14. All right, so that should give us the date. And so we want to take the new calendar and we want to do selected date equals earliest. And also we want to make sure that the new calendar's visible date, you always want to use the visible date with the selected date if that's in fact what you're trying to accomplish. All right, so now let's see how this works. Let's go ahead and run the application. All right, Jub, mission, Blue Moon, and what we want to do is put this and try to assign him just 1 day after the end of the previous assignment. And we'll attempt to do this, and we should get the error message must allow at least 2 weeks between the previous assignment and the new assignment. And it should also put 14 days in between the 8th and the 22nd. So if I were to accept this and click Assign Spy, it should give me, yes, that the job has been assigned to the Blue Moon mission, and the budget is $3,500. All right. So I think that's the solution to this exercise. I hope you got it. Hope you didn't get stuck. Hopefully the clues I gave you were enough to help you get past some of the challenges that you might have had. If you got past this on your own, awesome. That is great. If not, if you didn't get past this on your own, do this. And I know I've said this before. Try it again tomorrow, and then the next day. And just start the project over from scratch. Just throw this one on the side and then do it again and see if you can figure this out on your own, and practice the thought process of getting to the right results. Okay? And if you need to watch this video 2 or 3 times and once every day until you get it on your own, that's fine. This is not a race. You need to get this stuff under your belt. Remember what I said at the very outset of the series and every video series, that you need to rewind and pause the video. You can't watch this like you watch a television show or a movie. You got to be interactive with the content. And so this is a good example of that. If you didn't get this, don't move past this. Stop right here and figure out, ask yourself, what did I not fundamentally understand? What is the part of this that really got me? Was it the logic part? What could I have done different about the logic part? Maybe I was trying to make it more complicated than it really needed to be. Maybe I need to just type out, the simplicity of what is being, what they're trying to get at with these business rules. Maybe I need to take it in smaller steps and think, well, first I need this date. And then once I have that date, I can get the total number of days. And then once I have the total number of days, I can multiply it by, 500. Okay, I can do that. That's just like 3 or 4 lines of code. And so break things down into their smallest possible nuggets. All right, hopefully that encouragement will get you through to the next lesson. But again, don't move past this one if you haven't figured this out on your own. Okay? All right. If you are moving along, we'll see you in the next lesson. Thank you.